Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hot Pudge IG Live. I am your host, Pudge Fernandez. A little technical difficulties, but we got it out of the way. We're about to get started. First things first, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for supporting. As you know, all these videos, including this one, and I got 50 plus IG Lives. Go to my YouTube channel, Hot Pudge Sunday. Sunday like the day of the week, Hot Pudge Sunday, and subscribe. You'll see all my Hot Pudge IG Live videos from season 1, from season 2. And we got a lot of cool videos coming up this month, a lot of cool interviews. We got a special one today, and later this month, we've had actors, we have comedians, we had military veterans. I have a music producer coming on. I have a security expert coming on, and somebody from the FDNY is coming on later this month. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And going from there, today we got somebody from the NYPD, a very good friend. He is also an actor and a stand-up comedian. And 15 years. He's one of the first guys who did one of my productions. The first time I ever produced a show, he was on it, and he was a sweetheart. Mark Demayo, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's
everything? I guess, hold on a second. Let me sit up a little bit.
Yeah, you look like you shrunk.
All right,
there you go. There you go. One and only actor.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
All right, one second. What are you up to, man?
Not, man, trying to keep busy. The pandemic has changed everything, and I'm just trying to keep my, the juices flowing. We're not getting on stage. There's very little, next to nothing out there. So I'm just, writing, doing a lot of reading, and doing these Hot Pudge IG Lives. Some cool interviews, hopefully rolling it into a podcast, which you have, Police Off the Cuff podcast. How many episodes you guys got now?
I would say we're probably close to 200 now.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
How long? You got a couple of years now then, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're probably closing in on 2 years. But also too, we used to get a guest once a week, but have him for 2 hours. So break it up into 1 hour episodes. And now instead we're doing, because we can't be in the studio, we're doing the Zoom. And we do 1 hour episodes, but they usually go like 1:15 sometimes if it's, if the guest has time. And then we'll do Monday and Thursday. So we have to go through 2 guests a week. And plus we're also, we have a Patreon. So that we do, Bill does, I do it with Bill Cannon. He's also a comedian.
Right.
He's a retired NYPD homicide sergeant. That's who I do the podcast with. That's my partner. And then he does his own true crime shows for the Patreon, and I do one-on-one interviews for the Patreon, and then they stay on the Patreon a couple of days, maybe a week, and then we put them to our YouTube. So yeah, we're over 200, I would imagine, at this point.
Wow, that's sweet. Because you got started before the pandemic, and that's awesome because your wheels are already rolling. A lot of others, including myself, just got started during the pandemic just to keep our creative juices rolling. Do you find it at least fulfilling in some way that you're doing something, because we're not on stage that much? Or are you doing any shows?
I have a show this Saturday.
Okay.
Rooftop for New York Comedy Club.
Okay.
Other than that, before that, it was probably a month before. But I still did one on sort of on Zoom. That longest running comedy show with Mark Cadana and Richie Byrne and
was that the record for the Guinness Book of World Records?
Yeah, I think that was the idea of it, to go for that. Was it? I think so. But anyway, yeah, I did that. But before that, it was like a big break in between there, like a month.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of comedians, and it's like, personally, I kind of shut down from November. Once it got cold and they took away the 25%, I just basically, I'm not even looking to perform, because it's just frustrating. Because even if we did get on stage and we did great, it's like, all right, when's the next one? And you're left hanging. Or if we get on stage and we bomb, then, well, that's okay too, but where's our redemption? Like, where can we go on? We can't, either way, we're screwed emotionally, mentally. So I'm just checking out until I guess the 14th. Now that we're coming back to the 25%, and I'm hoping to produce something myself, and hopefully by March the weather will be better, and we can have a little bit more consistency, because that it's really, I don't know, it's an emotional roller coaster. With being on stage and wanting to perform and get material out, and not being able to at the same pace that we're used to before. And
Yeah,
it's
I
nerving.
agree.
It's nerving.
I agree. It's not a happy time. It's people have lost more, but when we're talking about just financially, more in terms of amounts of dollars, but it's all relative in a way. If it's your business and you've been building it up the way I have for 23 years, stand up, and then it's taken away. People think, oh, that's a part-time. Oh, you lost your part-time gig or your hobby. And it's like, no, I mean,
No.
made over $1,000 a weekend every single weekend a year how much money do you make on your hobby? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, it's a pet peeve, especially from family members. When you go to those reunions or whatever, you see somebody like, how's your comedy thingy going, and how's your hobby? I'm like, no, this is a commitment. I don't think people realize it's a life commitment. I have issues in my family because they're very blue collar union, and it's all about get a good job, a good union, good benefits, and retire. And they don't realize that in this industry, in the comedy industry, we never retire.
yeah, this
What
was a big
comedian?
mistake.
We go to death. I mean, Robin Williams, Joan
This whole thing
Rivers.
was the big mistake. Anybody who gets involved, listen to me. If you're out there and you're listening, and buy all the comedy albums you want, man. Support it. Do it at your house. But whatever you do, don't ever take the stage. Big waste of time.
I've told people who come up to me and they think about doing it or they just started. The first thing out of my mouth is go back to college, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be an astronaut. That's a lot easier.
I'm kidding.
I'm not.
You do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But you have to know going in that what the lifestyle entails. It's potluck. Listen, a lot of people that get involved in this are not suited for it. They're not smart enough to do it. They don't know anything about business. So if there's a lot of things that are involved with it, like Jerry Seinfeld talked about, making sure that he finished college. He finished Queens College.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about the discipline, not really so much about what you needed that you were getting out of college that was going to help you be a better comedian, but rather the discipline of finishing college, the structure of learning and having to produce something, a paper on a given date, the same way you'd have to produce a stand-up spot. So all that stuff, if you're undisciplined, if you're, you have trouble holding on to a job, if you show up late, you're probably not going to make it in this business either.
If you're in it for money, it's all about fame and money. I've seen guys come and go. I've seen comedians come and go because they're like, oh, it's 6 years and I'm not making any money. I'm like,
well, then God bless them, because that's where the business sense comes in. You have to have some idea of business. One thing that this pandemic has done is kind of sort of made all of us regroup and try to come up with something else creatively and try to bridge that gap monetarily.
Yes.
And that you weren't making. If you're doing it somehow through mentoring or tutoring, or you're writing for something, or you have a podcast that generates money,
right.
No matter what it is, at least you had that effort and you put all your resources together and you didn't give up and you didn't try. But this business is not for somebody. That's why most of the people that get involved with this are people who are wealthy already. They come from rich parents. I mean, we're not aware of it. I mean, I know you're not rich. I'm not rich, but it reminded me when the pandemic first happened, and then I'm looking at all these people who went to quarantine, some with their families, and then you see the house that the family has, and you're like, oh wow, look, they're in some place warm, or they have a pool in their backyard, or is that a chalet? And it's just unbelievable that and then you're like, oh, I get it. I now I know why they really bouncing around all night at every spot. You know, some of them get a job at Starbucks just to pretend, but they're living in the heart of the city. The rent is paid for.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about anything. So that's pretty much, and a lot of entertainers are able to survive with, you know, and long enough to become something or to actually earn an income on their own because they have this freedom to perform. Whereas the average person who wants to get in to stand-up comedy, unless you're willing to dedicate 10 years out of your life before before you really have an opportunity to, you know, to be known, which a lot of people don't. In college, once you do 4 years, you come out, you expect to get a job. And then if you do one of the civil service exams, these blue collar types of jobs, you go through an apprenticeship, or you go through an academy, then you start getting paid. You know, being a comedian, depending on where you are, you might not get paid for a couple of years, and then it's peanuts, and then so
that's why I always tell people that you're better off in college becoming an astronaut or a teacher or a lawyer, because any of those careers, it's a path. You know how to be a lawyer. 4 years of college, 4 years of law school, you take the bar. Same thing with a doctor. You follow this path. To be an astronaut, there's a path. You just got to follow. When it comes to comedy, it's not a path. You start off on the path. There's a little bit of a blueprint and a map that we follow, but then you end up in the jungle inside of abyss and an enigma, and there's no written way. There's no, you got to look and find your way through this.
Well, I
this
think
jungle.
the one thing that's become apparently clear, and it's better off for every comic that's going to come up now, and that is, you have to figure out on your own. This idea of getting a manager or an agent, somebody to book you gigs and this, that, and the other. If you start doing it all on your own, creating little tours with your friends to go on,
right?
Creating the buzz for yourself, your own brand, through your IG, through your TikTok videos, all these little things, finding your venues, taking the money from the door on your own, all these things. There's stuff that you're going to do eventually anyway, if you're lucky, if you stick around long enough. But if you learn, the younger you learn these things, the more you'll make, the less you're going to be reliant on other people.
Yeah, I think the newer generation definitely got a step up on it. I know that part of the branding, the marketing, and the social media, that's kind of where I failed. I think I always joke that I came up in the last class of comedians where we were taught the old school way, work hard, work on your craft, write, get on stage. Meanwhile, the class behind me was all on the MySpace, the Facebook, and they got to jump on the technology, which is where I kind of failed, but I'm taking advantage of since the pandemic. So I'm addressing that now, a little bit late, but I'm doing. But yeah, absolutely, you have to be. I think somebody said you got to be your own LLC. You're your own business. You're your own corporation. You got to handle all aspects. We can't wait for a manager or a booker or anything like that. And yeah, it is a business, and we got to handle it like a business.
That's where having an education comes in handy. Learning the structure, the discipline of setting up a business, doing your networking, doing your follow through, all these things that you learn like in a business class. That it's not just showing up at the club and doing your spot, getting drunk until you pass out, and then doing it all over again. It's that type of idea or comedian. I don't know if they really exist anymore. I don't think that's the business anyway.
Well, I think you hit it. It's like that's like the really younger comedians who have maybe financial or family backing. They still do that, and they can do that, and they can go out and politic. Whereas most of us who don't have money or backing or a huge house to fall back on, we have to still be grinding and hustling. I used to get a little, it was a pet peeve also because I wasn't able to hang out. I always had to come home. And you can relate. You want to start this as a young age at being single because you want to commit 100%. But I know you and we both had families. We were both married. We both had children. That's a whole other life. That's a whole other responsibility. That's
Yeah.
It's almost insane for us to even think about doing this.
Yeah, nobody cares, though.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You do it because here's the thing: if you decide you're going to stop doing it, nobody cares.
Mm.
You can quit whenever you want. Oh, it got too
Yeah.
hot for you. You don't want. Oh man, stay home then, dude. Nobody cares.
Yeah. That's why you really
It's
got to.
nobody's making you stay. It's
Yeah.
not like your regular job where somebody's calling you up and they're like, "Yo, where are you, bro? We need, are you gonna come back? Because otherwise, we're gonna hire somebody else."
Yeah.
They don't need you. They don't need you, and it's the worst feeling in the world. How replaceable you really are. I've been asked if I'm available to do a show, and then just telling somebody, I'll get back to you, or I'll get back to you, and then by the time I get back to them, spots have already been filled, or you can't think about, oh, was I the fifth guy on this person's list to call? The other four couldn't make it. It doesn't matter. It does, because that kind of stuff will drive you crazy too. Like, oh man, why they didn't call me first? But that's a waste of a thought. Just take the gig and shut up and keep moving.
Yeah, you got to keep your emotions in check, and it is a very emotional fucking business. I mean, who's watching who's getting picked, who's not getting picked. You got to take it all. It's better if you run it, like you said, like as a business. You just take your own, you take yourself and be responsible for yourself. Don't wait. Because I know I made that mistake coming up. I waited, or, I tried to politic, and it's not the way. You want to make things happen yourself. Create your own lane is what somebody told me. And exactly what I'm trying to do right now with this IG, and hopefully roll it into a podcast. Real quick, shout out to Danny Cohen. He says he had a family, but comedy comes first. Your kids will be fine without you. I can't tell you how many times I've thought about that. I don't think, my wifey does not appreciate the fact. She gets pissed at me. Comedy has been a huge issue in my house with the spouse, and she's not on board 100%, and we've had a lot of battles, but I don't know if she realizes how much more there is. I mean, if you're complaining now, wait till the wheels get going on later, really rolling. But it is, and I know you can relate because you had a family. Did you have issues like that with the comedy and the family clashing sometimes?
There's always a lot of scheduling. There's a lot of sacrifice that's involved in it. And you love something, you're passionate about it. If your significant other, has some patience and is willing to let you live, then I was fortunate in that way. But at the same time, there is there's a workload that's involved with managing a family.
Yeah.
And you have to be there, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of resentment unless you're bringing home the money. Everything changes when you're bringing home the money. If you come home, you throw 10 grand for a weekend on top of the table, dinner table for your wife, she's going to shut up. Oh, thank you. I could go shopping. I can get the kids what they need. It's all about money. Everything is about money.
It's a catch-22, because I've had some nice paydays, and I show her as like, hey, look, and this and that. But then it's like, but you're away. Matter. But you're away.
They don't care if you're away. Don't trust me. If you give them the money, they don't care. They could care less. The problem is the consistency. Even if you have a good payday this weekend, it's not guaranteed for next weekend.
Right.
You're not. We're not at that level. But if you do come home every single weekend, and you drop on a Sunday, you give her money for the house to run, 10, 15 grand. She's gonna be packing your bags on Thursday night for you to go away. They don't need you. You gave them the kids already. You're a big waste of time. Any husband who thinks that the wife really, especially when the kids get like 12, 14 years old, where they can dress themselves and pretty much eat themselves. Yeah. One day your wife walks around the house and, she sees you sitting on the couch and you're breathing, and she hates you. And she's like, I wish this person wasn't here right now, because now I got to clean up after. You're one less plate to clean. That's it. That's all you are.
I've had my battles, and it's been pretty nuts. We're pretty much splitting up. Long story short, as soon as this pandemic is over, because and even though we've been through our battles, our separations.
I've been hearing you say that for. I could swear 10 years ago I heard the same conversation. I think we're splitting up. You're not splitting up. That's all you guys do is fight. No, go inside there and kiss her again. Tell you love her.
But the coolest thing is, I think this time around we came. It was amicable, and it was a conversation deep.
Mm,
But I'm going down this route. I'm going down this comedy route, and she doesn't want to follow. And I'm like, that's cool. I understand.
mhm.
And the kids are older now, so they're in their
Do you
20s.
think it's the comedy route, or it would just be anything? I feel like driving remote control cars, and this is what I want to do for a living. If you don't like it and you're not on board, I don't really know. Are we looking to sabotage our relationships, or we're just willing to do it with anything? Like, what is it?
You know what? I personally, I think I've seen this in a lot of relationships. I think where one person is doing more than the other, and the
Hmm.
other one hasn't found something, and they become more needy of the other person. I've always seen that when you have two individuals who have their own lives
Hmm.
and their own like pursuits, aside from the job, they have their own hobbies, they have their own friends, they have their own. It's like they both have separate lives, but they love each other and they don't
Hmm.
depend on each other so much. So when they
Hmm.
are together, it's more enjoyable because they want to be together. I think that's the case in my case and a lot of other cases. I have too much going on. It's
We
almost
figured
like,
now that the kids are older that you'd be able to get along now, and take a vacation together. And but also too, don't forget, don't make any harsh decisions because you're in the middle of a pandemic. You're stuck in the house together looking at each other, and
oh
you get
yeah,
on each other's nerves. Once this is all over and you get some breathing room, because it costs a lot of money to get divorced, and it's a big waste of time, man. You got to pay for your rent, she's got to pay for hers, you got to pay for hers. It's just, it's
it's
not even worth it, man.
I know we're still cool. We're waiting for after the pandemic. We're
Mhm.
making do. We're cool so far. We've had our bumps and bruises,
Does she
but
mind you dating?
huh? No,
Does she mind
no, I'm
if you
not.
start dating? Would she mind?
I'm sure she would absolutely, but I'm not.
Oh,
That's not
no,
even on the
that's
plate.
well,
I'm
that
not.
sucks. Talk to her about that. If you want, I'll
Mhm.
talk to her about that. Which is,
Thank you, but you know what? I'm so looking forward to just being by myself because I don't think I've been by myself since I was 18.
it's
Because it
overrated.
not well, it's just
You know
that
what? Nobody cleans up your stuff anymore. You got to. It's so overrated.
it's just from the age of 20. I mean, I became a father, a husband, and a soldier in a period of
Hmm.
4 months. So
Hmm.
since 20, I've been on kind of a lockdown, or I belong to somebody or something. The
Hmm.
responsibility, whether we were together or not. I may or may not have been a husband, but I was always a father
How
and
old are
always had
you?
uh 47, 48. My birthday's next month. I forgot. I stopped counting.
I think that's probably where it happens too. It's a little bit more than a midlife crisis, but you get to a certain age and your spouse probably feels the same way. Is this all there is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's the fear of like, if we don't break up now, then I'm not going to be able to get somebody else or really taste the world or taste other stuff. It's an interesting
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
this lifespan.
I absolutely believe that's part of it. That's definitely
Hmm.
part of it. She's not where we should be or we could be, and we don't. And but it's a lot of we don't think alike. We're different mindsets.
They just do a game show where you take a married couple and then you send them both to different fat farms. One goes over here, the other one goes over there, and they get back and they regroup and they get back in shape, and then you let them go out and and be single for a couple of dates. They get ghosted a little bit, a couple of one night stands. They don't call her back. You know, she starts feeling like shit. Then she'll give you a call again.
yeah, I think we.
You too. You strike out. You go to a club. You get shellacked. I mean, you can't do it now, but when the COVID's over, you go out with your boys. You think, yeah, we're gonna do this, or you go on one of those trips, those single. They used to have them back in the day. Remember that? You go away to somewhere for a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Hedonism. You go with one of those. You strike out all week, and the next thing you know, you're calling your wife, honey, I really miss you. I love you.
I think that would have been me in my 30s. But
Mm-hmm.
now I'm looking. I'm not even looking for any relationships. That's the furthest thing from my mind. I just want my total freedom to pursue what I'm doing, comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and all ventures that come with it. That's what I'm looking for. It's like comedy. It's like I've been cheating on my wife. That's what it feels like with comedy. I think that's how
It
she
is.
sees
It's a
it.
relationship. You have to
It
be with
is.
comedy every night, and you have to be with comedy on the weekends. You know,
Yeah.
it's you feel like any other job. If you have any type of work ethic, if you feel like the more that you invest in it, the greater the returns. And the truth is, that's not that's there's no guarantee. You can go all in just because you love something, and it doesn't mean it's got to love you back. You know, you
Yeah.
go all in with the comedy, and then the returns aren't what they are. And then you get a boost. Boom! You think, all right, this is it. You know, and then you're back. You're back to. So that being
Yeah.
said,
It's hard.
like I
It's
said,
hard.
you could always quit, man. You could
Oh, and
always quit.
hell,
I wouldn't. I would quit on this before I quit on the family. You know, if I had to do it all over again. Um,
wow. Wow.
yeah, of course. I mean, just just everything that's involved in it. But I don't really know if this was my the straw that broke the camel's back was comedy for me. I don't think that was my problem at all.
Well,
I was able to do the comedy. I just had other problems.
I know. Well, we're talking about comedy being such a demanding job in a relationship. You were also NYPD. You were a detective, and you're retired,
Yeah.
right? You did 20 years. I mean, on top of having a demanding entertainment job, you had a demanding job in the daytime that included risking your life. So your
Yeah.
wife had like double, double duty of pain or suffering or hurting or worrying about you. Because damn.
Yeah, I don't know. Once I told her that if I die, you get $1,000,000, she stopped worrying.
Oh, all right.
She stopped. The worry was over.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. When I was in the military, we had the insurance policy. She was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. Just in case. This is what you get if something happens." She's like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, it's always there. It's always there, but it is demanding. It's absolutely demanding on the spouses. It's not easy. I mean, I had it also in the military, constantly going away, constantly training. A couple of days here, weekends here, a couple of weeks there. Sometimes we go to the desert for a month, and it's draining. It's draining. And now to come out of the military and become a comedian, and she's like, "Really? Now this?" I'm like, "What am I going to do? It is what it is. I can't change who I am."
It's just listen. It's just the nature of relationships. Because the truth is, if you did have that blue collar job and you came home and you pounded, a 12-pack of beer every night, you sat on the couch and watched sports, she'd look at you and she'd be this, she'd hate you just as much as she hates you now. It's not you. It's just life. It's just it's not. Life is work. It's not about having a different person every day feeds you grapes. Very few people get to live that lifestyle. You know.
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, I know it's the chemistry and the mindset. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were young. Bottom line, we got married when we were 20. We didn't know
Mm-hmm.
shit. We didn't know what love was. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we had to get to know each other, but we
But
didn't know
maybe you did.
ourselves.
Maybe you did. Look at Shakespeare. How old do you think Romeo and Juliet were? They
We
were
were
12, 13
16.
years.
Yeah,
I think they
yeah,
were like
15,
12,
16.
13 years old. First
Yeah, but
love. That's love. This other thing is bullshit. Everything else is bullshit. That's love. Man.
that's love, but that's all emotion. They didn't stick around. If they would have stuck out another 5, 10 years, you think Juliet would have been on his ass for hanging out with the fellas?
Well, I mean, if he wanted to go and hang out with all the chambermaids, well, that's not even a thing. That's music, but I don't know. Listen, I'm bullshitting here, but the truth is like love. It's all love. I don't know if there's different levels and there's different types of love, and that's young love. You were optimistic. You were going to beat the
Yeah,
odds,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Oh yeah.
then the game kicked you in the ass, and here
Oh
you
yeah.
are.
Oh yeah. Oh, we definitely were optimistic and Google-eyed, and we can do it, and everyone
Mm-hmm.
doesn't think we can make it. But we were young. We didn't know any better, and we went through
Yeah.
a lot
Why
of
listen?
hardship.
Why listen to people older than you that know what they're talking about? Right? Who needs their advice? I want to.
Here's the thing. And this is what pisses me off, and what I make sure I don't do. Older people were telling us the right thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just a statement. Oh, don't get married because you're too young. Oh, you guys don't know any
Mm-hmm.
better. Oh, you don't know what love is. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if that's all you got, I'm not going to listen like every young person who thinks they knew better, which was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, me. But there was no explanation. There was no depth to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why young people don't listen to older people. And this is what I make sure I do with my kids, especially, like my son. I give him depth. I give him reasons. I'm like, listen, you don't get married young because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want to be. You got to know, what you like, what you don't. You're just getting to know yourself. And now you want to shack up with somebody else. You got to be careful. And then that person has to be stable and has to know who they are. And once you
Mm-hmm.
know who you are and what you want and what your limitations and what your goals are, once you know that, then you got to find someone who has that same package for themselves. And then if they're secure,
Hey
now
man,
you
can you say that again? Because I gotta write that down.
I'm just,
Stop.
it's too late for us,
You
man.
sound you really sound like you know what you're talking about.
Because I went through the fire, man. I went through I'm telling you, I've been to hell in a handbasket several times.
Uh-huh.
And God, it's like it's one big torture since I've been 20. Learning about the hard way because nobody
Mm-hmm.
explained it. It's
Uh-huh.
just like you said, yeah, elders know better. I agree, but nobody fucking explained it. Nobody
Uh-huh.
sat me down. There was a lack of communication and depth. And this is where the failure comes. And now, like, my family looks at me like, see, we told you. I'm like, no, you fucking didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, so I always tell people, speak to your kids, give them examples, give them depth. And if they choose to fuck up, hey, at least you laid it out for them. But don't
Yeah,
just say,
listen. A part of listen. Every time I come in a problem and there's something wrong in my life, I always find somebody to blame. I'll blame my parents; it's their fault, or it's my ex-wife's fault, or but it's never my fault. And you know what? The only reason why I do that, it makes me feel better.
yeah,
I'm
I'm doing
okay.
that. Yeah.
I would have. I'm just.
That's part of the problem. But in the end, we all grow up eventually. I feel like
Uh,
I've grown up a lot and I'm in a better place. We're
uh,
not in a better place together, but I'm in a better place, by myself. Come this April, I'm going to be 4 years sober. I had an issue with that. I took care of it. So,
what were you
you
doing?
know,
Drinking a lot?
drinking
Mm-hmm.
consistently. I became a very good drinker. It hit. Yeah, I went through a rough patch. Drinking used to be on the regular. I did it. I started young. The military. There was another notch in my belt. Drinking in the military, that's another fucking level. But it was always positive, good times. It was never, anything negative. But eventually, when life got difficult, especially within my family, it became emotional. It became an emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I was drinking for every single reason. As a matter of fact, now that I'm talking about it, I gotta thank you because you caught me. You kind of called me out on one of those times where I was on a bender because at the time my daughter was sick and she was hospitalized and I was
I
losing it.
remember
And
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that was in that
What do
era,
you mean I
right?
called you? I bought you a beer?
No, no, you just kind of pulled me aside because you saw me, kind of
Uh-huh.
off the hinge or
Uh-huh.
something. You kind of saw. So you got those police eyes. You
Uh-huh.
you identified me on some other, and you kind of pulled me aside, and because I was becoming emotionally attached to the bottle. Because now
Yeah.
it was depression, it was sadness, it was frustration. It's one thing when you just drink good times, good fellas, sporting events, but now all the other emotions are
And
attached,
your
and that's where
daughter's better now? She's all better?
she's good. Yes, thank you. She's doing very good. She, that's yeah. She got past it. She has a she had it was when she was the first diagnosed with a mental illness. She has a schizophrenia. So she was in high school and everything was fine. Next thing you know, this happens and it
My
kind of
daughter,
turned
my,
out
my daughter, my stepsister went through the same thing.
very harsh, very
Yeah,
harsh.
I remember that. I told you about my stepsister and how
Yeah,
she got better. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No,
it's definitely possible.
it took a while. She went back. She finished high school, and it took a while to find the right medication because that's another road. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually we found the right one, and she's doing fine. She doesn't have any issues. You wouldn't know, that she
Mm-hmm.
has like this audio schizophrenia. It's a voice. Some people are visual,
Mm-hmm.
and some people hear voices. But she's good to go. Thank God. But initially, I mean, whenever it's your child, it's nothing's worse than that. I wouldn't, wish that on anybody. And that was pretty painful at that time. And I didn't know how to deal with it. So I was just swallowing anything in a liquor bottle at that time. But yeah, but I got, it took a while because it continued. She got better. I got worse. But eventually 4 years ago, I checked into the VA and, got into a program and I'm good to go. So yeah, bumps and bruises, but I'm on the other side.
That's great news. I'm happy.
Yeah. Now I just need to lose a little weight. I'm going to the gym. So try to beat that COVID.
I did something not really for the weight wise, but for my stomach, because I was going through a lot of stomach pain, and I changed my diet. I started doing an alkaline diet, which means I try to stay away from acidic foods that create acid in my stomach. And it's only been like 3 weeks now, but I mean I'm already losing weight as a result of it, and I feel a lot better.
I actually just switched.
I was suffering just from being stubborn.
I just switched to plant-based. I'm going plant-based for 2 weeks, just to feel it out. I figured
how many plants can you eat?
How many? I don't. 2 or 3. I don't know. I'm just anything. It's a lot of salad.
Plants, man. They just bring plants and they put them in the backyard. And you just go.
It's not as crazy as it sounds. I'm actually doing good.
No, I have the burgers. I have the garden sausages. I got the patties. I have the taco meat. I have the burgers. I got my gluten-free buns. And
I got the eggplant parm. You ever had? I made eggplant parmesan. That was pretty good. And it's working. I actually.
I'm not a big eggplant guy, man. I don't know why. I've had it. It's not the worst.
Yeah. It's the texture. It's a little different.
Avocado, though. Avocado, I'm really digging right now. I always hated it, but.
I got avocado. And you know what? I've lost more weight over the past 2 weeks faster than I did before. So it's pretty good. It's just an experiment. It's for 2 weeks.
But what would you do? Like, your name is Pudge. So if you lost weight, you'd have to change your name.
Everyone keeps telling me that. Everyone keeps telling me, Pudge is in the eye of the beholder. I got the name Pudge when I was in the military. Mind you, I was in a lot better shape. And what happened was I came out of basic and infantry school at about 175. And then when I reported to my duty station in Texas, I gained 15 pounds. So I was like 190. Mind you, 190 would be awesome. But at that point, people saw I had a belly or got a little pudgy, and they said, oh, they started calling me Pudge because I wasn't as skinny as they were. I gained 15 pounds. But that was at 190, 195. So I'm always going to be pudgy. It's just a matter, it's in the eye of the beholder. And I'm not going to be, I don't plan on being skinny. I just want to be in the low 200s, like a healthy 210, 220, maybe get a little muscle weight. Just want to be sexy again. That's it. I just want to take my shirt off at the beach.
You still doing that, huh?
I'm always going to be Pudge. That's never going to stop. I'm always going to be Pudge. I'm always going to be foodie. I got to do what I got to do.
There you go.
So what's up next for you? What's in the near future?
I'm going to be recording an album sometime in April with 800 Pound Gorilla. Okay. That's the record company. And they're going to be putting jokes on Sirius, on Spotify, and hopefully we'll get some sales out of it, people buying the album. So it's going to be another revenue source. And hopefully stand-up will come back.
Where are you Are you recording the album in like live in a venue?
Yeah, the place is yet to be determined, obviously, because of COVID. We've canceled twice already. Okay. Once we canceled, we had a date and we had to cancel, and the other time we had a prospective date that we didn't start promoting yet, and then we canceled. And both times have been obviously because of the corona. Okay. We keep trying to reschedule it. I don't know why we keep, you're like pissing in the wind. It really has, It really has nothing to do with. Hey, I just want to say, I see some people on here from high school, and that's
Oh,
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm telling you, Instagram brings people together. That's why I like doing it. You know, a lot of people come up, you see names from your past coming up, you're like, oh shit, you know, that
yeah,
person's
yeah,
still
yeah.
alive. But that's awesome. I don't know if you've seen a lot of people creating albums, but not so much live. Like Dustin Chafin did the Zoom. He did a Zoom album that came out real good. And then Nico White did that Dark Out, that solo in a room with the microphone, which is totally not what we're used to. That it looks scary cool. So yeah, I mean everyone's coming out with stuff, and
Yeah.
good
The
luck.
only
I
the only
hope you get a
fear that
venue.
is that eventually stand up is going to come back, and then you're going to look at those old albums and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I did that." But it is what it is. God bless everybody for, for trying, for producing stuff,
Yeah,
for you know, just I don't know what to say. It takes a lot of you know stick to itiveness to keep going, even though you're literally just pissing in the wind. You better off if you had see that's where people who actually have a couple of bucks stored up can just um, say screw it, I'll come back later. When it's a part of your income,
yeah,
you got to get it. Like for example, now that I'm not, I need more money, so I'm looking at all these other jobs,
yeah.
and I saw, you look at everything because anything's up. So I saw I'm in the park. I'm getting gas, and I see this car there, a hearse, and I start looking at it, and I'm wondering, well, how much that guy like because it's got to be a good job to be one of those people that are involved in the funeral business,
Sure.
because you never hear anybody looking for somebody. Hey, if you need work, let me know because they need people over at the funeral home.
Right.
Nah, they keep that locked down, man. Those guys are probably making like $250 for like, how much could it? Think about it. You work on the morning, really. That's what funerals are.
Right.
So from going from the actual funeral home to the plot is probably 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
maybe six on a long one and a big one. Um, then your day's over. And besides for having to watch people cry all day, it doesn't seem like a bad gig.
That's really
But
getting creative. I think that's where we're at. We're trying to look at, because I know my unemployment is going to run out soon, and I can go. I mean, I was an Uber driver, and I can go back to that, but the money's not going to be there like before. There's no business. There's no tourists. I mean, I don't know what's going to be left, waiting if when I start. I'm looking at other places too. I'm thinking, I don't know, be a busboy or bartender or something. I'm really
yeah,
just
let
like you
me just
looking
give
up.
a shout out to Sean Roberts, and I think I saw William Valerio. They're both high school buddies of mine that I haven't seen in a long time, and it was nice to see them tuning in with us. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
like I said, Instagram has brought us people together. I actually started interviewing some people from my high school. I got
Mm-hmm.
like a veteran, a Navy veteran interviewed. I got a marathon runner, a buddy of mine who runs the New York City Marathon. Interviewing a teacher later this month or next month. So, and the one good thing is with the pandemic, we're on lockdown. We're still looking other ways to be creative, but we're also catching up and making other contacts and meeting new people. So there's
Mm-hmm.
something out of it. You just gotta look at the bright side, as tough as it is.
There's millions of people who talk to themselves every single day, except now they record it,
Yeah,
and nobody's watching. Nobody gives a shit.
yeah, totally,
I'm
totally.
like, it just seems like everybody has a podcast. Everybody's doing something,
Yeah,
and getting the audience. That's the tough part, though.
no, I know. I'm gonna be there soon. I'm still working out. I'm trying to. I'm talking to people. I might be talking to you because I know you've had your podcast for a while. I got to figure things out. I'm looking to equipment. Hopefully, start rolling it out. Hopefully by the spring. It just sucks because I want to do the podcast face to face, but with the pandemic, I feel like we got to do it over Zoom. And it's like,
Zoom
it's not the
works
same
out,
thing.
you know, like at first it was so awkward, but now that we're used to it, and the fact that you're in your house and I'm in my house, and when we're done, there's no commute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the benefit.
I think the thing, I just miss the contact, the physical, like the contact and being in the same room with people. I mean, I think I've spoken to a few comedians over the past couple of weeks, and it's like, shit, we haven't seen each other since last year, and we're already making plans to like hang out like after the 14th once the 25% goes into effect. Because it's like, it's really nerve wracking to not. I mean, we used to see, we took for granted. We used to see each other all the time in passing, in clubs, in the street, in the village, on the train. And it'd be like, what's up? And what's good? And where you going? And I bombed and I did good and I killed it. And now it's like nothing. And
I know. Yeah, I know, man. I know. Believe me. With the first couple of gigs that I did in the beginning of the summer, when I started seeing, after we hadn't been up for a while, and you start seeing your friends again, that was really something special. And then we were getting up a little bit, it seemed like I was getting back to normal, and then they freaking killed it again. So I don't know what the purpose of this is. I don't really know what the end result is going to be. Nobody does, but I guarantee you it's not going to be good. These poor kids that are not allowed to play, there's going to be a result from it. The kids that miss out on their whatever it is that they're missing out on, there's going to be results. There's going to be things. But there's going to be positive things too. The people that had the opportunity to spend time with their parents that they never would have been able to spend in the same house.
Yeah, I did an interview with a comedian who's also a psychology professor, and he says there's going to be a big boom. There's going to be a therapy boom at the back end of this because people are going to come out of this PTSD. So many people lost somebody close to them, being like indoors, and even the children growing up not having contact. There's going to be a big boom in the future because we're not going to come out of it all of us the same. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some, a weight to carry for everybody.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully there's a light coming. At the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we'll make it. I mean, I didn't get it yet. Did you?
No.
Did you get the corona?
No, I didn't. No, we had a scare in December. And I took 2 tests in January. So there was a family gathering. I wasn't there, but I was like 1 degree of separation. So everybody in my house got tested. Everybody came out negative. I got tested twice just to be on the safe side. But no, nothing here. But everyone seems to be getting it. It seems like normal. And I don't know. I'm just worried because
listen, my theory is it's coming for you. Everybody's going to be introduced personally to the corona, and what your body does with it, that's going to be up to you and God.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the gym.
People have been told over and over and over again on every doctor's visit, you should lose weight, or you should stop smoking, or you should do this, because one more thing, and guess what, man? This is the one more thing. So
it's a wrap.
No, it's not going to stop until it's introduced itself to everybody. Anyway, listen, I got to split now because I got to get ready for mine.
Hey, Mark, do your thing. And once again, what's your podcast?
It's called Police Off the Cuff. And we're going to be going live on YouTube, though, at 7 p.m. Tonight's guest is Michael Devine. He's a big-time actor. He's been in a ton of movies. He's been in a ton of TV shows. He's the biggest actor that's ever come out of the NYPD. So he's retired, and he's a big-time actor.
So police off the cuff. It's on iTunes and it's on YouTube.
It's on everything. It's on everything. But we're doing. If you want to see it, anybody here want to tap into YouTube Live 7 p.m. We're going to be there.
All right, police off the cuff tonight, 7 p.m. on YouTube, and I'm sure you guys got it.
We have a channel too. Police Off the Cuff.
Police off the cuff. Mark Demayo, thank you so much for coming on. Totally appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll stay in touch.
All the best, man.
Thank you, man.
All right, all the best.
Be good.
Man. Thank you.
All right, that was Mark Demayo, ladies and gentlemen, NYPD comedian, actor, and podcaster. Guys, once again, thank you for watching Hot Pudge IG Live. Thank you for subscribing. Hot Pudge Sundays, my YouTube channel. You'll see this episode, and I got about 50 other episodes. Again, later this month, I got a music producer coming on. I got somebody from the FDNY coming on. I got a security expert, a buddy of mine from back in the day. Funny enough, yeah, we broke the law. Now he is the law. So that should be a real interesting interview. Again, much thanks. Thank you. Subscribe. Hot Pudge Sunday. Keep watching every Tuesday and Thursday. Hot Pudge IG Live. My name is Pudge Fernandez. Guys, be safe. Take care.